Hello everyone. Hello everyone. We would like to announce that, please keep your phones on silent and do not come forward to take photographs. We have official photographer who would be taking the pictures of the graduating students, and photos can be obtained from the respective faculty admins after a week of the event. So, good morning, and we are delighted to have all of you join us today. Let's get started with the celebrations. Many of you may not know me, I am Chandrani Chakrabarti, a faculty member and the program coordinator for the Landscape Architecture program, and delighted to be your host today for this convocation ceremony. On behalf of the entire Faculty of Architecture at CEPT University, I would like to welcome you all to the 17th annual convocation and the first convocation outside a computer screen in a very, very long time. Greetings. It feels different, doesn't it? Today, you can't mute me. You can't turn yourself invisible in a single click. You can't blur your background even if you don't like someone sitting behind you. And you also can't pretend to be nerds and studious with hundreds of books stacked behind you. And you definitely can't just log out and that's a walkout without being noticed from the ceremony. Uh, Professor Coronavirus, if you remember its name and the work profile, is still likely somewhere on campus, but on sabbatical and not working right now, thankfully. You were confronted with the wrath of Professor Coronavirus, who did everything possible to derail you from your academic tracks and professional paths. You fought back, adapted, adjusted, and kept marching in the pursuit of knowledge. So congratulations. Today is the moment to recount your journey here at CEPT, a journey that was different from the cohorts before you. This adaptation and adjustment were incredibly challenging for the design-focused studies that we pursue here at CEPT. Working from home may have deprived you from the nutritious food of the canteen. Not being able to stand in the long Siddhi print shop lines may have weakened your leg muscles, but you are more prepared to embark on your professional and advanced academic careers as the cohorts that graduated before you. In fact, more prepared because you have developed this additional power through your unique experience, the power to be resilient. And this power will be with you and help you forever. So be thankful to the battle that you have fought. It wasn't an easy journey, but you won at the end. Kudos to all of you. So on a more serious note, let's forget the past and take this opportunity to celebrate the way normal humans should, breaking shackles from the social distancing and recognizing the outstanding achievements of our brilliant graduating students and the support of their families and friends. Congratulations, a huge round of applause to the students, families, friends, and all the loved ones. Yes, you all deserve this. So without further delay, I would like to request Professor Anjali Yagnik. Dean, we have too many Anjalis. Without further delay, I would like to request Professor Anjali Yagnik, Dean, Faculty of Architecture, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Chandrani. And yeah, Anjali Yagnik, not Kadam. This is a constant confusion. But good morning, everyone, and welcome to Convocation 2023 at the Faculty of Architecture. And a very special welcome to our students, both undergraduate and postgraduate, who are graduating today. So, I feel graduation from professional schools and colleges is different, from graduating from a social sciences sort of a program, and is a particularly significant rite of passage because, one is transformed at the end of this day from a student to a fully fledged professional, or a specialized one, as in the case of our postgraduate students, after this event. So it remains a sort of a very special and a red letter day, should remain a special day for you throughout your lives. I hope your experience at CEPT has been comprehensive and valuable, both professionally and personally. In hindsight, it's been about 43 years, I think, since I left CEPT. In hindsight, and to a large extent, what one takes away from an education and an experience like this depends to a great extent on what one brings to this experience. The interest, the enthusiasm, and the open-mindedness which you bring to this experience at CEPT. I hope you will keep this in mind when you start working in professional environments, as many of you will probably start doing very soon, with inputs which, in the case of architecture, have a direct, tangible, and hopefully valuable impact on the real world out there. I wish all of you the very best and hope that you find a good fit in your future calling within the field of architecture, whether it's professional, academic, or preferably both. I would now like to introduce Professor Madhavi Desai, our keynote speaker today, who is well known here at CEPT as a student and a tutor. Madhavi and Mickey left to do their masters at Austin, at the university, at UTA in Austin, just after we joined CEPT in 1974. So I remember seeing both of them on campus, and they were these exalted seniors, So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Madhavi today. So Madhavi is an architect, a researcher, a writer, and a teacher. And she is also a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. She was an adjunct faculty at CEPT University from 1986 to 2018. She was also a student at the School of Architecture. It was the School of Architecture at CEPT from 1967 to 1974, and completed her master's in architecture at the University of Texas in Austin in 1978. So Madhavi has written extensively on architecture and related subjects and published several books. Notable amongst these are Architecture and Independence, The Search for Identity, India 1880 to 1980, which she co-authored with John Lang and Mickey Desai, and which was published by the Oxford University Press in 1997. Another one is Traditional Architecture, House Form of the Islamic Community of the Bohras in Gujarat, published by the Council of Architecture in 2007. Then The Bungalow in 20th Century India, The Cultural Expression of Changing Ways of Life and Aspirations in the domestic architecture of colonial and post-colonial society. This was published by Ashgate in 2012. Then Women Architects and Modernism in India, Narratives and Contemporary Practices. This was published by Routledge in 2017. I had the honor of being included in this. And she has also edited Gender and the Built Environment in India, published by Zuban in 2007, and Gender and the Indian City, Revisioning Design and Planning, published by the South Asia Press in 2022. There are a few other books which I haven't included in this list. She has also received research fellowships from the Indian Council of Social Science Research, the Aga Khan Program for Islamic Architecture, and from MIT and the Getty Foundation in USA. Among her other interests and activities, scholar in Gender and Women Studies at UC Berkeley in 2014, and has been a continuing member of the nominating committee of the Berkeley Rupp Professorship and Prize at UC Berkeley for the last 10 years. Apart from all these incredible achievements, Madhavi has been a role model and a mentor to many women, students and practitioners alike in the field of architecture, with an insistent call through her books, research, and teaching for fairness and equity of opportunity and recognition for both genders. Thank you, Madhavi, and I would now like to request you to address this gathering.
Thank you, Anjali, for saying all those nice words about me. Respected dignitaries of the university, faculty members, parents, and dear students. It is a joy and an honor for me to be addressing this gathering today. A graduation is always a turning point in any person's life, especially for young people like you. You are standing at the threshold of stepping out into the real world, of facing life away from the protected environment of this campus, and perhaps of home. I'm sure it is a time of great expectations, excitement, anxiety, and confusion. It is also a time to nurture dreams for the future. So I thought I will begin by sharing my own story with you. I studied in Gujarati medium in a vernacular high school in this city, namely Shet C.N. Vidyavihar. It was the 1960s, and the spirit of independence still lingered on. The school was based on Gandhian principles and fostered an environment where middle-class students felt a sense of belonging. We wore uniforms made from white khadi, with the school attempting to instill good values and ethics in us. There was a secular environment that did not consciously discriminate based on class, caste, religion, or community. On the high school graduation day, we were all called to the school in the evening. After the usual speeches and ceremony, we were led to the central ground where a very large map of India had been drawn. Almost 350 of us were requested to stand at an equal distance on the border of the map. We were all given a candle to hold. Soon it got dark, and each of us lit the candle almost at the same time and sang the national anthem. There was an adrenaline rush, and we floated for a short while in a collective nationalist as well as human spirit. It was a beautiful, magical moment for a 16-year-old one that has stayed with me forever. After graduation from high school, I joined this institution, which was not called CEPT University at that time, but as Anjali said, the School of Architecture. We were a small experimental college of 150 students then. Frankly speaking, I took up architecture as what I call a non-choice. In those days, women my age generally went for Bachelor of Arts and got married at 21, 22 years of age. I did not want to do arts or medicine despite having prerequisite grades. So I decided to give architecture a try after being fascinated by some wooden models I had seen earlier, even though I did not know much about the field and had my doubts if I was doing the right thing. But within just a few weeks of being in college, I experienced a feeling of enchantment as I started to look at the world around me with fresh eyes. I hope many of you share this feeling. The architecture college had started in 1962, and we were the sixth batch of students who had joined after doing 11 years of high school. Our first year was spent in the badminton hall down the road, and we moved into these premises in our second year. The school was rather small, located on these large grounds. The ramp was, of course, there, with two wings on both sides, and both the basements were open at that time, and we had the view of the landscape. The spatial experience was totally new for me, and so was the educational pedagogy. The intimate interactions with the peers and seniors, calling your design professor sometimes by his first name, the immense knowledge stored in the library, the friendliness of the tutors, all of this was focused on unlearning the previous methods of learning and rejects a challenge. It was an amazingly versatile learning experience. I was exposed to not only rural India and its communities, but also the urban slums for the first time, along with, of course, the classical monuments and modern edifices. There is much more, and we do not have time to go into this. But I will say this. I feel this education helped me become a better human being than what I was. I developed some lasting values and had a great opportunity to explore the world through observation prone travels and academic engagements. I must also add that later, teaching on this campus for 30 odd years was an immensely satisfying experience where we as teachers enjoyed pedagogical freedom and intimate connection with the students, a crucial aspect in the development of my identity and my career. If we observe, we realize that architecture is an inclusive field and not an exclusive one, like, say, mathematics. Its range touches upon humans at one end of the spectrum and technology and materials at the other, linked by the challenges of functionality as well as creative pursuit. It prepares the students to deal with various socio-economic levels of clients. They learn to think deeply and critically about the interconnectedness of culture, aesthetics, and the world of ideas. One great aspect of this education is the broadening of one's horizons and the versatility of its application, it being potentially infinite in scope. Innovation challenge, unquote. And Einstein said a long time ago, quote, creativity is intelligence having fun, unquote. But most of all, the design involvement gives us a satisfaction of making a difference in everyday lives of people. And therefore, I believe a hardworking and sincere architect is always able to find her own path within the discipline. But before I go further, I must go back to my life a bit. After getting my master's in the USA and working in California for a couple of years, Mickey and I came back to India to set up a joint practice in Ahmedabad and start teaching at CEPT. When I had two young daughters and was trying to practice and to bring them up at the same time, I had a personal crisis. It was a painful realization that the successful future I had imagined for myself at the time of my high school graduation that I mentioned earlier was nowhere in sight. I was torn between home and work and felt that I had accomplished nothing in my life or career. This was a turning point for me, which I did not realize at that time. With feminist readings and awareness, my interest and confidence gradually began to change. I took small steps, worked hard to manage what is now called work-life balance, and began to find my niche in the discipline. Being conscious that the discipline of architecture is deeply embedded in the cultural world, one of the areas I have consistently and passionately worked for in the 30 odd years is gender and architecture in India, as Anjali mentioned, with a focus on women as creators as well as consumers of space. Did I mention feminist readings? I'm sure you are wondering how feminism came in the narrative. I'm aware that feminism is a much contested, detested, and ignored concept in India, and most of us, men and women, will refrain from calling ourselves feminists. Why? We can be humanists, environmentalists, pacifists, but not feminists. This is so because of the general perception in the society that feminism is strongly associated with the bra-burning, man-hating, family-destroying movement of the West. But it is not so. In fact, historically speaking, I would call Raja Ram Mohan Roy of the 19th century India, one of the founding members of Brahmo Samaj, a very important and pioneering feminist. He denounced the caste system and protested the custom of sati. Because of the definition of feminism is, I quote Kamala Bhasin and Nigat Khan here, quote, feminism is an awareness of women's oppression and exploitation in society, at the place of work and within the family, and conscious action to change the situation, unquote. Coming back to the 21st century, it is a fast-moving, complex time period, an age of information and digital technology. Schools of architecture are struggling to keep up with changes that are already transforming the discipline. These include the constant proliferation of new materials and modes, new and innovative software, the project management requirements, different client types, market forces, etc. Besides, of course, the dominating real estate, that these are the forces which are modifying the profession at a fundamental level. Within this scenario, we find that the number of women students joining architecture and related courses have been steadily going up since 1990s, not only in India, but also in most parts of the world. Despite women having reached various levels of success, they remain rather invisible in practice as single heads of firms, in public forums, or in leadership positions in the academia. I'm going to elaborate a bit on what women graduates face after becoming architects. The popular opinion in India is that architecture education is bias-free, relatively liberal, and gives equal opportunity to all for success. However, professional programs generally suffer from implicit gender bias because gender sensitivity and thinking has not entered the mainstream educational consciousness. Within a dominant star system of male practitioners, a few successful women are acknowledged as symbols of the equality within. I can imagine that all of you, men and women in the audience, thinking that this makes no sense. It surely does not apply to you. Why should women be identified as women architects in the 21st century? Unfortunately, as I have observed through the years, because of the relative liberal atmosphere of the colleges, women students anticipate no difficulty in combining a professional career with the family role. It therefore comes as a shock to them as they struggle for personal achievement after marriage and motherhood, while their male counterparts' careers progress much faster. Remember, I'm talking about the rule and not the exceptions. One of the reasons for the overwhelming intake of women in architecture colleges is that this course is perceived as feminine, with the parents assuming that women will be able to work from the office while comfortably handling the home front. Alas, the assumption is proved wrong again and again. As a result, there is a high rate of attrition in the profession, while many women also shift to related disciplines such as interior design, graphics, filmmaking, or now content writing. While I rant about women, I'm intensely aware that male graduates too face great difficulties in establishing a practice or advancing in employment unless they belong to the socio-economically creamy upper layer of the society. Here I want to quote from United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, where they have tried to include gender. Quote, realizing gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls will make a crucial contribution to progress across all goals and targets. The achievement of full human potential and of sustainable development is not possible if one half of humanity continues to be denied its full human rights and opportunity. Women and girls must enjoy equal access to quality education, economic resources, and political participation, as well as equal opportunities with men and boys for employment, leadership, and decision making at all levels. Unquote. The same applies to the discipline of architecture. If the educational institutions address structural gender issues and develop strategies, I have no doubt that greater diversity will improve the profession's ability to meet the complex, challenging, and fluctuating needs of the future, making it much stronger and sustainable societies in the long run. Let me not be all negative. Women have made great strides in the field in the past few decades. In the 21st century, we have social and professional conditions which are beneficial to women. There are newer prospects and opportunities today. Women are more educated and ambitious than ever before, with far more awareness of their career paths. The young are freer in their movements and their thoughts. This has a lot to do with their sense of self-worth. They are beginning to delay marriage and having children for the sake of their careers. There have been many modifications also in the societal structures. Travel has become easier for the single woman. Some parents are now ready to send their daughters out of town to work before marriage. Overall, there have been tremendous changes at the social, physical, and infrastructural levels. It is a crucial time to rethink conventional approaches and establish way to go beyond male and female duality. We need to have a supportive professional community to develop an alternative model that combines professional and family life and to create more opportunities for women to embrace non-traditional modes of practice. Men must contribute more in the personal lives of their partners. Parents need to allow curiosity to foster in young adults, support girls through their desire for professional education and career, and take interest in their studies. If we do all this, beyond doubt in the 20th century, women will reach excellence in the production of a vital contemporary architecture. Now I want to share a few humble suggestions that address all students, men and women. The state of architecture education in India is highly challenging, despite the mushrooming of number of institutions that impart knowledge and give architectural degrees. We have about 470 now, I think. First, the lacuna in teachers' training has far-reaching negative impact, and that should be remedied on urgent basis. I personally think that we overemphasize design studio in terms of time and energy, Whereas in practice, in the real world, there are so many other tasks that need our skills and expertise besides designing. Most colleges are still, by and large, geared to producing the solitary genius, the Harvard Rogue, instead of encouraging collaboration and teamwork. Along with technical courses, there should be strong history, theory, and humanities teaching. Specifications, quantity surveys, estimates, budget, and contracts, etc., should be taught in an innovative and palatable way to students. The assimilation of these related courses with the design curriculum would help create more holistic studios because this education is not only about developing skills, it is also about intellectual as well as practical engagement with the field. Though practice, research, and teaching form an equilateral triangle, there is not sufficient stress on research and the development of scholarship by the faculty as well as students. We also need a well-structured and well-monitored internship program that truly becomes a learning experience. Our technical courses should include rigorous site exposure that gives confidence to students as they enter the field. And finally, there is a dire requirement for encouraging role models and setting up a mentoring system. Of course, obviously, times have greatly changed since I graduated from CEPT eons of years ago. It warms my heart to see that many career options are now available today to men and women graduates of this profession. They either work with large firms or start their own practices. There are NGOs you can engage with or pull together your talents and resources to begin a collective, which is increasingly being preferred by the young. Many are attempting to move away from the elitist nature of the profession by finding alternative models of practice and giving back to the community, especially in rural and remote areas. I wish I had some water. After saying all this, I'm wondering what can I tell you directly at this extremely important junction in your life. I'm a realist who believes in working hard and pursuing one's dreams. So on the professional front, thank you. On the professional front, I will begin by saying that there will always exist a gap between education and the real world of the industry which you will be joining. Be curious, keep learning constantly and have no shame in asking questions or admitting that you do not know something. Keep up with the fast and constantly changing technology. Be thoroughly professional. Remember, architecture practice is also a business. Learn those skills pertaining to the business side of the profession. Network and support one another. Seek help wherever necessary. Hang on to your work ethos and moral values, however hard it may be. It always pays in the end. Be humble and truthful to yourself. Do not forget compassion as you rise in the world. Look after the carpenters, craftsmen, and construction workers who are part of your team. Always keep raising the bar a little higher and chart your own path with confidence. At the end, I want to quote from Mahatma Gandhi. I quote, many people, especially ignorant people, want to punish you for speaking the truth, for being correct, for being you. Never apologize for being correct or for being years ahead of your time. If you are right and you know it, speak your mind. Even if you are a minority of one, the truth is still the truth, unquote. It is a new dawn for you, all of you, and I wish you the best in the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Desai. That was truly inspiring. I hope this will inspire all of you to do great work and contribute meaningfully to the built environment. Most importantly, as you embark on your professional journey, I hope this talk you will remember her words in difficult times. Thank you again, Professor Desai. We will move ahead with the announcement of the Award of Proficiency. And I would like to invite Professor Madhavi Desai again for presenting the awards. In one of the crosses? Yes. Yeah. We will get started with Bachelor of Architecture Program Award of Proficiency. Best Studio Performance for second year, Ishwa Patel. Best Studio Performance for fourth year, Vivek Chatrola. Best Studio Performance for fifth year, Vipasha Chauhan. Consistent Performance for second year, Trisha Karthik. Consistent Performance for third year, oh, she's not here, I'm sorry. Consistent Performance for fourth year, Vivek Chatrola again. And Consistent Performance for fifth year, Anirudh Shankar. Moving to the postgraduate programs awards of proficiency, we will start with Masters in Architectural Design, the MAD program. Best Studio for the second year, Jinal Tang. Best Studio for second year also to Shivani Mehta. Best Studio for second year also to Vivek Mavani. Best Studio for third year, Jayashree Murali. And Best Studio for third year, Nikhil Patni. Now announcing the Award of Proficiency for Masters in Architectural History and Research program. Best Studio for second year, Benita Bose. And Best Studio for the third year, also to Benita Bose. Best Foundation Studio, Ketan Maniar. Kairavi, okay, I'm sorry, Kairavi Maniar. Masters in Conservation and Regeneration, we have Harshida N for the Best Foundation Studio. For the Master in Landscape Architecture program, Best Studio for the second year, Kruti Desai. Best Studio for the second year also to Trupti Tandaveswaran. And Best Studio for the third year also to Trupti Tandaveswaran. Best Foundation Studio to Simran Kaur. Moving on to Masters in Architectural Tectonics. Best Foundation Studio to Diksha Garg. And also to Selvin Varghese. Finally, Masters in Housing Design program, Best Foundation Studio to Ashlesha Bhosle. We would move ahead. You will still have just two more, ma'am. we will move ahead with the conferment of degrees for the Master of Philosophy program. I would kindly request Professor Anjali Yagnik to come and present the degrees, to announce the names. These two. These two.
Huh? Just this.
These two. Yeah.
Okay. No, before that, I want to thank Madhavi for a very heartfelt, thoughtful, and grounded talk. Thank you so much. Okay, so Rane Karan Sachindra, degree of Master of Philosophy in Architecture.
Ma'am, you may have to read the whole thing. The
Okay,
chairman and the
okay,
members of the board.
okay. So should I do that again? Okay, I didn't do the whole thing. The chairman and members of the Board of Management of the CEPT University, on the nomination of the Executive Council, have conferred upon Karan Rane Sachindra the degree of Master of Philosophy. The chairman and members of the Board of Management of the CEPT University, on the nomination of the Executive Council, have conferred upon Urvashi Tuli Lalit Kumar the degree of Master of Philosophy, Architecture. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am. So now we move on to the conferment of all the degrees. So we will start with the Master of Architecture in Conservation and Regeneration. And I would like to welcome the program chair for Master of Architecture, Conservation and Regeneration, Professor Sonal Mittal, and invite Professor Jigna Desai to present the degrees.
Thank you, Chandrani. It's an honor for me to announce the names of the graduating students today. I'll begin. The chairman and members of the Board of Management of the CEPT University, on the nomination of the Executive Council, have conferred upon the following students the degree of Master of Architecture, Conservation and Regeneration. Astha Desai, Amriteshwari Arun, Anaga L, Janvi Sinha, Parul Paraganiha, Pragya Nagar, Priyanka Bagel, Rohan Madan, Sachin Raikar, Vishwesh Pathak, and 1 degree which has been conferred in absentia to Bhanumati VV. The chairman and members of the Board of Management of the CEPT University, on the nomination of the Executive Council, have conferred upon the following student the degree of Master of Arts, Conservation and Regeneration to Sneha Anand. Thank you. Thank you, Jigna. Thanks.
Thank you, Sonal. Thank you, Jigna. We will now move on to Master of Architecture in Architectural Design. And I would like to welcome Professor Anjali Yagnik, the Program Chair for the Master of Architecture in Architectural Design, to announce the names and invite Professor Sankalp to confer the degrees. Yes.
So I have to start with this, no? I have to say this.
So this is the new one, no?
No? It's not the right list? Oh, okay.
Why? This
Some-
is the file you had given me. This is the file you had given.
Sorry. We had to get the right list. The chairman and members of the Board of Management of the CEPT University, on the nomination of the Executive Council, have conferred upon the following students the degree of Master of Architecture in Architectural Design. Wadhwa Asta Sarvesh Manjuli. Tapyawala Ayushi Ashish Ketal. Abhay Shrikant. Abhinav Alok. Noon Anish. Noon Anish. Mistri Arbina. Arun Cherian. Arvind Krishnan B. Deepak Khandelwal. Ghazal Anil Nanwani. Kave Shintu P. Kurian Jacob. Hivreka Ojas Pramod. Varma Ratik Rakesh Prabha. Mahanti Shashidhar. Sampath Shivani Dilip Mitali. Satare Siddhesh Ashish Vidya. Tushar Rajkumar. Rajput Yash Deepesh Kumar. Yashash Kanojia. And in absentia to Karishma Rathod, Shravya DG, Harshil Daresh Amin. Thank you. Thank you, Sampath.
Thank you. We move on to Master of Architecture in Architectural History and Theory. I would like to welcome Professor Gauri Bharat, Program Chair for Master of Architecture in Architectural History and Theory, and invite Professor Sonal Mittal to present the degrees.
Thank you, Chandrani. Good afternoon, everyone. The chairman and members of the Board of Management of CEPT University, on the nomination of the Executive Council, have conferred upon the following students the degree of Master of Architecture in Architectural History and Theory. Anisha Karambelkar, Chinmay Gheware, Meena A, Malika M, Pranjali Mathure, Richa Bihari, Shriparna Seal, Tanvi Karya, Yakin Kinger, Aftab Lokhandwala. Many, many congratulations to every one of you. May you find a joyful career ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you, Sonal. We will move on to the Master of Landscape Architecture program. I would like to welcome Professor Sandeep Patil, the Program Chair for Master of Landscape Architecture, and invite Professor Anjali Yagnik to present the degrees.
Good afternoon. The chairman and the members of the Board of Management of the CEPT University on the nomination of the Executive Council have conferred upon the following students the degree of Master of Landscape Architecture. Anmol Tiwari, Anuja Patil, Avneet Varaj, Chanakya Rajni, Drishti Ghosh, Pranati Ji, Hardik Kumar Agawala, Janvi Mode, Khushbu Prashant, Lavanya K, Mabel Biju, P. Madhulika, Ravish M, Rosemary Sebastian, Rucha Ketkale, Rukia Bora, Sakshi Rashinkar, Sanika Kalantre, Selvi Pandoria, Sneha B. John, Tanuj Gupta, Zinia Vandrewala, and in absentia to Jagan M. Congratulations to all the students. Thank you.
Congratulations. So we move on to Bachelor of Architecture, the most awaited part of the ceremony. I would like to welcome Professor Sachin Soni, the program chair for the Bachelor of Architecture program, and Professor Anjali Yagnik to continue to stage the present degrees.
Thank you, Janani. Hope you guys are awake. All right. The chairman and the members of the board of management of the CEPT University on the nomination of executive council have conferred upon the following students the degree of Bachelors of Architecture. G. Shyam S. Rao, Deepak Kao. Anupam Aserkar. Ipsa Pancholi. Janvi Oza. Ruchit Kumar Patel. Sunny Tuar. Abhishek P. Aditi Kanoria. Aditya Agrawal. Agrima Manglik. Aishwarya Gupta. Anushka Mittal. Ash Kanya. Aryan Karena. CM Sadanandana. Chanda Patel. Charmi Patel. Daksh Goel. Devanshi Shah. Devyani Chandak. Devolka Salvani. Drashti Ganabar. Hamsika Gumadevli. Harsh Prajapati. Harshil Shah. Ishita Sujitra. Jay Abhinav. Jay Odaria. Jaya Khurana. Kairav Trivedi, Khushi Shah, Kriti Kothari, L. Gyan Praharsh, Marut Gajjar, Meghna Tutureddy, Namrata Okani, Nechal Magon, Nishra Shah, Parikshit Kalavadia, Pooja Mistry, Preet Patel, Priyanka, Rhea Kundu, Ritvik Behuria, Rupal Singh, Rutvik Faldu, SLN Dikshit, Samyak Jain, Sandra Palathingal, Sandra Maria George, Savni Jain, Sharvi Shah, Shreya Sridhar, Siddhi Agarwal, Tarjani Soni, Tushar Kanoi, Tuisha Wagasia, Varisha Chauhan, Vatsal Sanghvi, Vipasha Chauhan, Viraj Bhatt, Rushti Shah, Esha Shah, Prachi Vedia, Aditya Setalwad, Ashumi Shah, Arya Danda, Khyati Rajpara, in absentia, Anushka Reddy, Dhruv Patel, Palak Choksi, Darshan Saraiya, Pulak Goyal, Anokhi Brahmbhat, Vatsal Vekaria, Sehul Patel, Dilip Panchal, and Takshil Jagani. One more. The chairman and the members of the board of management of CEPT University on the nomination of the executive council have conferred upon the following students the degree of Bachelors of Science in Building Design, Khushi Babaria. In absentia, Ripalbala Pargi. So best of luck and see you soon.
Thank you. And congratulations once again. I have missed 3 absentia names when we were announcing the award of proficiency in the beginning of the ceremony. So I would just like to say those. In absentia, we have Anne Shojan for the Best Studio 2 and Best Studio 3 in Masters in Conservation and Regeneration. We have Naga Sai Santhan for Best Studio Performance in 3rd year from Bachelor of Architecture. And we have Shravya M for Best Studio Performance in 3rd year from the Bachelor of Architecture. So congratulations once again. You are now CEPT graduates and CEPT alumni because you have your certificates with you. And alumni of a leading institution of built environment and planning in the country. You may not be able to stop feeling proud, but also be humble and responsible. You have accomplished a lot, needless to say, but remember that any end marks the new beginning. You have a long way to go and so much more to achieve. So as we come to the concluding part of the Faculty of Architecture Convocation ceremony, I would like to thank all of you who have made this event a success. First and foremost, a big thank you to Professor Madhavi Desai for joining us today and sharing her amazing journey with us. I hope again it will continue to inspire us. Thank you. Thanks to Ms. Shraddha Prajapati and Ms. Shivani Joshi from the admin office for their constant support and assistance. Thanks to the communications office, IT team, and the campus office for giving us support in setting up this event. Thank you all to the student volunteers who has taken out their time and helped us in organizing and setting up this event. And of course, thanks to Divya Shah and Shilpa Maveda for coordinating the event. And of course, a big thank you to all the students, their family members for being here today. So, congratulations once again. So here we end the Faculty of Architecture convocation, and please note that the FA lunch would be held in the double height. Thank you.
You can announce that they have to collect their original degrees before 2:30.
And one more thing before you disperse, all the graduates, you have to collect your